The opinions I'm about to share in this video are all mine. Do not in any way feel obliged to stick to these ideas in order to live your life, okay? You can live your life in whatever way that pleases you. That said, today's video is all about the power of silence. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some things that I think that we all should keep to ourselves and not share to the entire world or whoever cares to listen. And towards the end of the video, I will actually share some things that I found that are beneficial when we don't talk too much, when we don't share too much, when we are actually silent. Let's get straight into this video. Let's get straight into some things that we all should abstain from sharing to the entire world. Now, don't get me wrong. It is okay to share some things to people you trust, to your family you trust, to people who have passed the loyalty test, who, you are ride or die. It's like people who have gone beyond for you, and these are people that will actually die for you. There's nothing wrong with sharing everything with these people. Okay, what I'm talking about is things that we don't necessarily have to share to the entire world, because you know what, in today's social media, everyone is looking for juice, everyone is looking for tea, and in as much as we are all looking for this juice and tea, it's the same way that we're looking to share this juice and tea. So we need to be very careful. So what is the first thing that I will say that we should zip up and keep to ourselves? Our love lives. Our relationships should totally be kept to ourselves. I'm not saying that if you are in a relationship that you should be a secret. That would be a red flag. If you are in a relationship and your partner keeps hiding you from anybody, everybody, that is not right. They might just be married, or they might just have another relationship elsewhere, or they might just be using you. It's okay for people to know that you are married. For example, I am married. It's obvious, you can tell that I'm married. But are you going to see me here spilling tea on my relationship? Nada. It's not going to happen, okay? And I do that intentionally. I know there are channels on YouTube, couple channels, where people share a lot more about their relationships. Sometimes it's just for entertainment, and they still sometimes, I know there's people who share their real lives, and some people just modify it to give us something to watch. That's their business. They make money off of that. Whatever they want to do, they can do. But I think that most often it's not good for us to share a lot about our relationships to whoever cares to listen. It's okay, like I said, to share things about your relationship to that your bestie who you trust, to your therapist if you have issues, to your mom if you trust them. But just be mindful that sometimes it's the family who wants the worst for you. Sometimes, honestly, it will be your mom giving you wrong advice. Sometimes it will be your best friend giving you wrong relationship advice. So we really do have to be mindful about who we share our relationship information with. We who watch people with relationships online, we have to also be careful and take everything with a grain of salt. No relationship is perfect, and me personally, the only relationship goals I have is my own relationship with all its flaws and blessings and everything that comes with it. I'm not looking up to any other person's relationship for any reason. Just recently, this artist Tia just announced that she's getting divorced, and the whole world is going bonkers. Why? Because they've come across on social media like this such perfect couple, and honestly they look like humble, nice, respectful people, but you never know what's going on. And sometimes, even though people look so good together, sometimes they still have a lot of issues and differences to deal with. And so if you keep coming and sharing your information on your relationship on social media, sometimes even the people who mean bad for you, they're going to use some of these things that you share in order to get into your relationship. If you are sharing the bad things that are on your relationship, it makes it even easier for people who've always wanted to have a say or to just disrupt your relationship to actually get into it. So be mindful about what you share about your relationship. Do not be a secret though. Things might look good now, but might not look good next year. So now if you're all lovey-dovey, which is okay to be, and then next year something happens and you break up, now what do you say? Now you're so embarrassed with the whole world and you don't know how to explain yourself, and with people on social media having so much expectations. And again, like I said, you only give people more room to be able to influence your relationship and have a say when you share too much. Thirdly, people who are interested in our partners, because it happens a lot, they use the information that you share about your relationship to figure out ways to penetrate the relationship. These, among others, are reasons why we should keep our relationships to ourselves. The next thing we should absolutely zip up about is our money. If you're honest with me, you will tell me each time someone is talking to you about how much they earn, how much is in their bank, that it's always an uncomfortable conversation. Nobody wants that. I personally don't care. I don't care whether you are the one making money. I don't care how much you earn, how many houses you have. That is not my business, and you're not going to hear me sharing that information anywhere. Your money should totally be your business. Do not share to people what's in your account, what you're earning monthly. And let me tell you why. There's been a time when I've made a mistake to say what my friend earned. Okay, you know when a question comes to you and you respond, and then you feel like, damn it, did I really just do that? It happened. And you know what I realized? After giving that information, this person started reaching out to my friend to borrow money from them. First of all, sharing that information only exposes you. People assume that you have too much, and so you should be responsible for their well-being. But also, it really just makes people uncomfortable, and it's really a tacky thing to do, to always be talking about your money. It makes people feel bad about themselves. Imagine you're a six-figure earner and then you have someone who is even just not even sure how they can make a career out of their living, and you're here boasting. That has a way of just making people feel so bad and worthless in life. So I will say, zip up about your money. Keep it to yourself. There are channels on YouTube where I see people share everything about their money, like how much they have in the bank, how much they're spending. Again, you can choose to do whatever you want to do with your channel or with your life or with your money, but there is a way that you can do this without actually disclosing the exact amounts. Just give examples, right? Like, you don't have to actually spill out to everyone on YouTube that what you are earning is $25,566 a month. Like, it's okay. You can give estimates and like overestimate or underestimate, or just give random estimates and not make it look like that is what you're earning. Zip up about your money, sis. Like, no, not everyone has to know. Want to share with people more details about your money? It is possible for people to actually look for a way to, block the source of your income. Yeah, that's true, because you can be tempted to say, hey, you know what, last month I made $50 by supplying soap to X and X company, and the next day the person you release that information to, they reach out to that company and look for ways to start supplying that soap to your client. Another thing we should zip up about is our goals and our next steps. I am guilty of this one because I've come on this channel. When you about to start a business, sometimes it just makes sense to let people know what is coming. That's been a mistake a couple of times. I did start a salon in Cameroon a while ago, and before I did that, I employed a couple of people to even just help me to look for places. And during this period, I was sharing information. Lo and behold, there was this one person. I found out that they had started their own, that same very business, same city. That's the thing with sharing information. But I had no idea there will be someone who can do that. And one other reason is that for sometimes when you share information with someone might interpret that as you wanting them to be part of the business, even though that's not what you mean. When you eventually move on with the business, people's feelings get hurt just because of miscommunications and misunderstanding of what you were planning to do. An entitlement. People feel that if they advise you about your business, then they should have a say, they should be partners in your business and just things like that. Another reason why you should not share your goals. When you have a goal, say for example, you're planning to apply to study at the University of Ghent in Belgium and you're Nigerian, and you're telling your friend, and honestly this friend of yours has been doing the same and just did not tell you. Now you've told them and now you go ahead and you apply, and maybe your friend even started the application even way before you even started thinking you would apply. And now you apply, and while you are waiting, they get results. They've been admitted already and now they're traveling. When you see that, the first thing that will come to your mind is like, oh my god, this person stole my idea. But you have to know that just because you came and told them doesn't mean that they necessarily had to tell you what their own plans were. And also, just because you told them doesn't mean that they were not working on the same plans. So we have to be very careful about what we share. If you have goals, get on the goals, work on the goals, and then just release the result or the final steps. Unfortunately, that's just how some of us roll. And I'm not saying that we should not trust everybody. There are genuinely nice people around us that we can trust with all this information, like I said at the beginning of this video. But make sure that you again are not sharing all this information to everyone who cares to know. So keep your goals to yourself, keep your plans to yourself. Just get to planning, just get to execution, and broadcast the results when everything is set to go. Before I get into the next thing, please leave a comment below if you have any other points that you would like to share. What is it that you think that people should keep to themselves and why? Are there things that you're keeping to yourself? Tell us. Hit yes and then tell us why. Okay, also please subscribe to the video and like the video just so that YouTube can share the video to more people. The next thing you should not share with everyone are your weaknesses. Unless you are at a job interview and the interviewer is like, Zaria, can you tell me your weaknesses and your strengths? Now, when you hear that, even that question requires a response that is very tricky. The response is never really your weaknesses, because we are always like, well, sometimes, I try to do a little too much, but then I've tried to manage my time lately so much so that I always complete my tasks and end up not having issues with multitasking. You see how that response always go? But in real life, do not share your weaknesses to anyone. There are bad people out here, people who are good at blackmailing. When you share your weakness to people, they might use that to blackmail you. And sometimes you share your weaknesses, your lowest points, when you are really in a bad situation, depressed, when you're stuck in life, when you're disappointed, when nothing is moving in the right direction for you, and you find the need to share. Obviously, like, we need to share, we are human beings. But sharing this information to the wrong people, I can guarantee you, whenever you have a little misunderstanding, they're going to remind you about those weaknesses. For example, God forbid that maybe you were abused in any way. You tell someone you trust, the bad one, and later on you are in a fight, they can really use that information to bring you down. Find a therapist you trust, share to someone who cares about you. You're ride or die, and like I said, someone who's passed the loyalty test, and you know that come rain or shine, that person is never going to use that against you. Now you can share that information too. Otherwise, zip it up and keep it to yourself. Just like weaknesses, the next thing that we have to keep to ourselves is our troubles. Say for example, you trying to get a visa and you've been turned down. Not everyone is always happy when we have to travel abroad, for example. I'm saying so because I know it's a big deal in Africa, traveling abroad. So if you are in trouble, make sure the person you're telling is someone very trustworthy. Otherwise, if you're telling someone who doesn't mean well for you, trust me, they're going to pray for that visa to never be approved, and just things like that. Say for example, you're having issues with your in-laws, and you tell your friend, and this friend has been jealous of your relationship in silence, because a lot of people do, and now you're telling them that you're having issues with your in-laws. What do you think that this person is gonna do? They're gonna pray overnight that that trouble or whatever is going wrong, that it should get worse. Just be mindful. Exposing your troubles to people might just make the troubles bigger. Sometimes, even when you expose them and you're seeking for help, when third parties insert themselves into the situation, maybe the person you were involved with, when they finally find out, it never ends good. So inserting other people into our troubles most often only makes the situation bigger. The next thing that you should not share, that you should absolutely zip up, are your secrets. A secret doesn't necessarily have to be like a terrible bad thing that you did before and now you're hiding it for life. It can be just a part of you, you know, that is not a weakness, that is not trouble, that a lot of people don't know, and that is a secret to you. You have to watch who you share that to. God forbid, if that is something that you did when you were drunk, maybe something you did 20 years ago when you were in a bad place, something you're not proud of. If you share the secret with someone and they are bad, it is very easy for those people to also share what you think is a secret to other people. And or these people, again, they might use it against you at a time when you need them the most, and at a time when they feel like it's a good time for them to bring you down low. There are other people's secrets. This one thing I hate. Usually, when someone has or holds a conversation with you in private, especially when you live in a community, that is not a sign or permission for you to reshare or rebroadcast that information to anyone else. Just because I call you and I tell you about something doesn't mean that our third party or our third friend should be informed about whatever it is that I told you. And I want to hope that I don't do the same. So if someone tells me something and it's just the two of us around, then I make sure that I keep it and not also share it to the third person. So just like our personal secrets that we should not share to anyone who cares, also we should also keep the things that people are telling us within us and not always share these to third parties. Sometimes there are things like this that people share with us and they tell us this is just between you and me. So it's ridiculous and really embarrassing and disrespectful and unfriendly and unkind for us to then take this information and then share to other people when it benefits us. So yes, these are the few things that I think that we should not share with anyone we don't trust. But say for example, you have no one. There are people who don't have family, who don't have those kind of good friends, and who also don't have money to talk to a therapist. What should you do in this situation? Journal. Find a book and write down your thoughts in your books. That might be helpful. Apart from these things that I've named that we should not be sharing, and what to do if you actually have no one to share to, there are actually benefits from just being silent, not saying anything that comes to your mind. So these are the few things that I wanted to share with you in this video. And like I said at the beginning, you can feel free to live your life in every way that pleases you. And if you choose to stay with this, again, may I remind you that you don't have to be a loner and just live by yourself. There has to be someone who you can trust, such that you can share your good and bad times with. Just make sure that they've passed the loyalty test and there are people who mean you well and they want the best for you. Yeah, and just the public is really, social media is really not a good place for us to overshare. If you've watched this video up to this point, that's amazing. I'm hoping that you would want to watch another video of mine. So on the screen here, I've put some videos for you to watch. One of them is things that I no longer buy, and another one is how to save money on low income. I'm sure a lot of us earn just a little bit of money monthly, and so it will be important for you to figure out how to save. So click on any of the videos, over here to watch, and do not forget to subscribe. I post videos weekly, and it's always all things life in Canada, business, and self-improvement. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you in my next video. But before you go, make sure that you subscribe and you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss that next video. See you again soon. Thank you for watching.